One of the most important ways that we uphold the ASU charter of being measured not by who we exclude, but by who we include and how they succeed is our commitment to serving Jewish students wherever they are. So whether it's West Poly, Tempe, or the downtown campus, you'll see our staff, you'll see our student leaders, and you'll see Jewish life thriving throughout any place that has the ASU banner. There's a lot of different students spread out geographically, and we are here to serve every single one of them. Hillel is here for every single Jewish student, and our building stands proud and tall on the Tempe campus, and our student leaders go out to Poly, to West, to the downtown campus regularly to be there, to train Jewish student leaders, to bring food, to bring soup when students are sick, and just to build Jewish community wherever Jewish students are.
Guys,
I found Hillel through a text message that I received my very first summer moving in, and I met up with Shira. She told me about Hillel. What kept me coming back to Hillel was really the community. It was something that I was lacking in North Carolina in a very rural area. So when I found a Jewish community, I really stuck with it.
senior year of high school, coming to visit ASU to make sure that this was the spot I actually wanted to be. Came down with my mom and my dad and walked past Hillel. My mom saw it. She said that I had to come and knock on the door. There's got to be someone here. She said I need to get involved as early as I can. Came to the first couple Shabbats, and I've been coming back ever since.
I found Hillel through friends. I started coming with different groups of people that I had met my freshman year, so it made the transition more comfortable.
I found Hillel because my dad actually went to ASU and also went to this Hillel. And on a tour of the Tempe campus, we came to Hillel, and that's when I met Debbie.
ASU Hillel's mission is to enrich the lives of Jewish undergraduate and graduate students so that they can enrich the Jewish people, Israel, and the world.
Hillel is really special because it is such a community of other Jewish students, and you get to meet everybody where you wouldn't typically get to meet a bunch of Jewish students walking around campus. Here we have that opportunity to get to know each other and really interact and become friends.
Being on the downtown campus, it was hard sometimes to come over to the Tempe campus and make it actually to the Hillel building. But I always felt like there was a piece of Hillel down there, whether it was a staff member coming down just to give us bagels or a huge event like going to a Suns or a D-backs game. I always felt like Hillel was on the downtown campus even though the building is here on the Tempe campus.
No matter what day or time it is, I can walk through the doors and know that I'll know at least one person in the building who I can talk to about life, Judaism, or just everything that I have going on the day-to-day.
Someone I knew back home posted something on social media about me. They basically said that they didn't like me because I was Jewish. A couple other things were in there that was a direct threat to me. I came to Taylor and she helped me a ton. She put me in contact with the people I needed to talk to make sure that this would get somewhat resolved and really made me feel comfortable in a challenging time for me. This was after October 7th, so it was a dangerous time just for Jews in general. I know that all of the staff members are with me 100%, and the community that I felt at Hillel is with me 100%. Anytime I need something, I can text Taylor or anyone else in the staff, and they get back to me that day. Anytime I walk in, I feel so welcomed and so loved to be here. So
After October 7th, I had lived that previous summer 2023 in Israel, and Hillel was there to kind of meet my needs, understand what I was going through, and connect me with people who can relate to my experiences.
Hillel has really shaped my Jewish journey, not only by giving me such a wonderful community, but also by connecting me to a Jewish organization that I now have an internship with.
So my freshman year, I didn't really know anyone else who was going to my campus, and I didn't know a lot of other Jewish students that would be at ASU. I'm working on creating a club at Poly to foster a Jewish community out there. I realized there's such a large supportive community of Jewish people out there for me. The staff at Hillel make the experience what it is, as well as just the students that come every week. I've made some of my best friends here at Hillel.
As a senior this year at Hillel, I am leaving college with an abundant community of friends and leadership connections that I'll hold for the rest of my life. I have come here almost every day, every week since my sophomore year, and it has been so easy being on the Tempe campus to just walk over to Hillel, and it's obviously going to be one of the most difficult things to leave after I graduate.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our next chairs for this evening, Judy and Mark Searle.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the third annual The Door to Door, an evening to support Jewish ASU students. My name is Judy Searle, and standing beside me is my husband, Mark. Our family has a long history at the intersection of Hillel and ASU, and we are honored to be co-chairing this year's event. As you saw from our introduction video, Hillel goes above and beyond to meet students wherever they are at, literally and figuratively. Tonight, you will learn more about Hillel's inspiring work and how it is impacting our entire community.
As many of you know, I've been at ASU for almost 30 years as a professor and formerly the provost, and it has been a great connection to Hillel, and we've strengthened that connection through earlier times when our daughter Erin worked for Hillel, and we have had a front row seat to seeing Hillel's deep impact on the lives of our Jewish students. Valued by students as their home away from home, beloved by thousands of alumni for their leadership training, mentorship, travel, and Jewish educational opportunities. Tonight you'll see the profound impact this organization has had on shaping our future leaders, as exemplified by tonight's Community Enrichment Award honoree, Mark Kazanovich. It's a very special privilege for us to co-chair this event that honors Dr. Michael Crow, President of ASU, my colleague and my friend, with tonight's Rabbi Martin G. Lee Memorial Pillar Award. Mike has been a steadfast champion of inclusion, student success, and excellence, ensuring that every student has the necessary resources for them to thrive. Adam Lehman is here, President and CEO of Hillel International. He's traveled from Washington, D.C. to be with us tonight and underscoring the importance of Hillel's mission, not just at ASU, but on campuses worldwide. And we look forward to hearing from Adam later.
We'd like to invite members of Bishop Band to lead us in the Hamotzi. This band regularly brings music and joy to Hillel and Shabbat services. Thank you for blessing here tonight. For Mark and I, Hillel holds a deeply personal place in our hearts. As parents, we saw firsthand the impact it had on our own children, the way it provided them with an instant sense of belonging, a supportive community, and a foundation of Jewish values that guided them well beyond their college years. Our daughter felt leadership and purpose through Hillel, working as a Jewish campus service corps fellow at 2 Hillels across the country, and then working at ASU Hillel. She continues to serve the community as a volunteer, using what we know she learned from her early Hillel years. Our son knew, before he even arrived at college, that he needed 2 things: a great sports team, and a strong Hillel. Through Hillel, he built friendships, deepened his connection to Jewish life, and even met his wife. The fact that both of our children were married by Hillel rabbis says a great deal about the lifelong relationships and meaningful experiences fostered within these walls.
Beyond our personal connection, what we admire most about Hillel is its unwavering role in shaping the student experience. Hillel is a strong advocate, making sure students are heard by leadership, and that the university remains aware when anti-Semitism and other challenges arise. And I can personally attest to them following them many times. As a university leader, I've seen firsthand how critical it is for students to find a space where they feel seen, where they feel supported and valued. At an institution as complex and as dynamic as ASU, that sense of belonging is not a given. It must be cultivated with intention, and Hillel does exactly that. The students who find their footing at Hillel emerge not only as graduates, but as leaders who will shape our communities, champion inclusivity, and give back in ways we cannot yet imagine. That is why we support Hillel and why his work remains so vital to the fabric of ASU and the larger Arizona community.
Now, as we honor community leaders tonight, we must first express our deepest gratitude to the dedicated event committee whose hard work and commitment have brought this night to life. Thank you. Thank you, Gail and Ed Ober, Robert Mesa, Robert Kazanovich, Jennifer Schwartz, and Elise Bender.
Tonight's event is also a testament to the unwavering leadership of Debbie Dr. Hale, who has guided Hillel for more than 100 years. Debbie has led with vision and dedication, and beyond this evening, her impact is felt through the students she has nurtured, instilling Jewish values, leadership skills, and a deep commitment to fostering a diverse yet tight-knit community that centers Jewish celebration and joy in everything they do. Thanks to the guidance of Debbie and her excellent staff, the students who pass through Hillel today become leaders who shape our community tomorrow. Debbie, please join us.
Thank you, Mark and Judy. I wanted to come up here to personally thank all of our generous sponsors for tonight's event. I would ask that you hold applause until the end of each sponsorship level. First, our appreciation goes out to the top level champion sponsors, the ASU Foundation, Judy and Mark Searle, and Elise and Tony Wager. Thank you to our sustainer level sponsors, Karen Murray Aaron, Shelley Cohn, Jay Bergen Will, Jenny Norden and Bob Ramsey, Barry Barbazello. Our gratitude also goes to our A&T level sponsors, the Arizona Diamondbacks, Bruce Greenberg, Rosalie Cosio and family, Flo and Paul Eckstein, Lauren and Doug Henlis, and Robert Mesa. And finally, thank you to our Pitchfork level sponsors. Let's see them all. I also wanted to thank and welcome all of our public officials who have taken time out of their busy schedules to join us this evening. And of course, Hillel writes every day thanks to our incredible team. We wouldn't have any inspiring stories to tell you tonight if we didn't have the most dynamic student impact team in Hillel. Community engagement managers Shira Kodem and Devin Davidson, our Jewish Agency Israel Fellow Vida Krikakova, and our Springboard Innovation Fellow, Toby Lee. They are led by one of the top Hillel professionals in the country, which, by the way, makes me one of the luckiest executive directors in the country, our Associate Director, Taylor Silverman. And tonight would not be possible without Erin Goldschmidt, our long-term full-time development specialist. And finally, our student intern, Ariella Golden, you have become a true partner in producing this event. Thank you to you all. Now tonight, we celebrate a young professional whose dedication, leadership, and generosity has strengthened our community, Mark Kazmovich. You know most of us as Mark Kaz. From the moment he graduated ASU, he wasted no time getting involved, joining the Hillel Board of Directors at just 23 years old. His dynamic personality and passion for helping others continues to inspire us all. Let's take a moment to learn more about his journey, his tenacity, and the difference that he continues to make.
Our mission is to enrich the lives of Jewish undergraduate and graduate students so that they can enrich the Jewish people, Israel, and the world. And the Community Enrichment Award recognizes a young professional who's doing just that. Mark's someone we're really excited to lift up as a model. He's truly enriching his community by all the different things that he's doing, through being on the Phoenix Police Advisory Board to volunteering at the JCC and with other organizations. And he is someone that I know his peers look up to, and we should all be really proud to have someone like Mark in our community.
The main role for the Phoenix Police Chiefs Advisory Board is to build a bridge between the community. It's great hearing from a younger point of view versus the more traditional advisory board members. He's always excited, he's always very happy. It's an honor to work with him.
I think Mark is 100% deserving of this award. He's very involved. He never sits still. My mom and my dad both said, you know, you have to be the change that you want to see in the world. And Mark embodies that completely. You know, all these different things that he's participated in are really an inspiration that you can't just sit still and just be a participant in what you're enjoying. You really have to provide your talents. He uses his talents to really help further the Jewish community and any organization he's been a part of.
I think the amazing thing about Mark's leadership today, that it's all-encompassing in every aspect of his life. Professionally, he sees his job and his role as a way to help the Jewish community.
It's really special to see an alum getting involved for all the right reasons, being involved in leading the JNF Shabbat in the desert, to chairing Dad's Club at the preschool, to men's club for NowGen with CJP, to going on a men's leadership mission to Israel. I mean, it's kind of hard to find something that Mark hasn't done, and I don't know where he finds the time.
Well, when I met Mark, he obviously stood out to me. His great attitude and positivity, that was remarkable, you know, for a young man.
One of the biggest things that I love about Mark is that you can tell his heart is in it. He truly does care. I think that's one of the reasons why he's very excited and eager always to volunteer whenever he's able to. I mean, the sincerity, when you talk to him, it's easy to see that he's there because he wants to be, not because he has to be.
Mark deserves this honor because he is truly a man of the community.
Thank you so much, Mark, Judy, and Kevin. My Hillel involvement played an essential role in shaping my Jewish identity and making me the person I am today. And I am just one of countless examples of the impact Hillel at ASU continues to make in our community. It's a tremendous honor to receive this recognition, and I'd like to share a few words of gratitude. First, I'd like to thank my parents, Nina and Alex, for leaving everything they knew behind and escaping the Soviet Union so that my brothers and I could have the religious, political, and economic freedoms we enjoy today. Honoring your sacrifices motivates me every day, and because of your influence and example, Jake, Corey, and I know that it's incumbent upon us to be the change we wish to see in the world. Thank you to my family here from near and far, my brothers, Jacob and Corey, my sister-in-law, Paige, my mother and father-in-law, Beth and Mark, my aunt and uncle, Bonnie and Igor, and my cousins, Benny and Dylan, who came all the way from Canada to be here today. I love you all so much. Thank you, Debbie. Your vision and leadership have led the organization to new heights, and I'm proud to have been on the committee that hired you. Thank you to the community leaders who have believed in and supported me over the years, many of whom are here tonight. I'm grateful to have such inspiring mentors to look up to. I would also like to extend my heartfelt congratulations to President Crow. Dr. Crow, Rabbi Lee was an extraordinary man who selflessly dedicated himself to helping others, and I can't think of anyone more deserving of this honor than you. I'm certain Rabbi Lee is smiling down on us today. Finally, my deepest gratitude goes to my beautiful, thoughtful, and exceedingly patient wife, Brooke. In addition to always being willing to shoulder our parental responsibilities so that I'm able to attend a board meeting or event, Brooke is my biggest cheerleader and most trusted advisor. Brooke, I'm grateful to have you as my partner, and this recognition truly belongs to both of us. Throughout my time at ASU, Hillel was the anchor that kept me connected to the Jewish community. More than just an organization that put on fun and meaningful programs, of which I went to many, Hillel was truly a Jewish student center. Living at home freshman and sophomore years, I was so grateful that Hillel provided a safe and welcoming place for me to hang out between classes, meet friends to study, and get to know other Jewish ASU students. Not only are many of my fondest Hillel memories actually from the informal experiences that Hillel facilitated, but it was these day-to-day experiences that showed me what Jewish community is all about. Now, almost 15 years later, Hillel's role on campus as a safe haven for Jewish life is more vital than ever before. With every new challenge, whether COVID or encampments, Hillel and ASU has met the students where they are. Brooke and I hope you'll join us in supporting this indispensable organization, not just for our children or yours, but for the thousands of lives that Hillel touches each and every day. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will now pause for dinner. Please enjoy your meal, and we will resume shortly. Thank you.
It's hard to be a Jew right now. And it's hard to be a Jewish college student right now. My mentors tell me that times have been hard before, and they'll be hard again. But I tell students it's the first time they are experiencing these things, and these are life-defining moments. And by the way, no one ever said it was 100% easy being a college student in the first place. Sure, we can all remember those carefree moments in college when our biggest choice was which outfit to wear or where to grab dinner. But I'm pretty confident many of you face challenges similar to the ones that ASU students I know are facing. Deep loss of loved ones, family and social pressures, financial insecurity, self-doubt, and the desire to figure out who you are and who you hope to be in the world. Leading in this particular moment has been hard for me too. Not just supporting students witnessing me on campus, but facing it myself. Both listening to chants that hit me at my core and feeling so much pain when I see campus activities pierce student souls and their identities. Countless administrators, ASU colleagues, and friends have supported me and my team so that we can continue to show up for students. To the 50-plus ASU staff and faculty here tonight, thank you for all that you do for me, but for all for all of you. To count you as our supporters, and you make it an honor to lead in this moment at this premier public university. To everyone here tonight, I'm here to tell you, those chants on campus, those social media posts, they have made this a highly unique time to lead and to be a college student, but they will not define our work, and they will not define our students here at ASU. 12 years here and over 20 in the Hillel movement. I started when I was 8. Our decades-long partnership with ASU to build an inclusive campus climate for Jews and for all students far predates me. And yet, each year we tweak our programs to meet the moment. Just next week, we'll launch a partnership with the Watts College of Public Service and Community Solutions, featuring cohorts and conversation on topics of inclusion and community building. Our whole student approach parallels ASU's idea that a university should not only educate, but empower students to become productive members of a diverse and dynamic world. Today, nurturing strong Jews means that addressing anti-Semitism and building Jewish literacy are two sides of the same coin. We know what we're doing at Hillel is working. It helps us reach over 1,000 students each year. Our three-pronged approach to addressing anti-Semitism focuses on instilling Jewish pride by cultivating students' love of Judaism, prioritizing education by teaching students how to recognize, report, and combat anti-Semitism, and fostering university and community partnerships by collaborating with senior administrators and campus leaders. Together, we create a supportive environment that empowers students and strengthens the broader community. And our work at ASU Hillel is guided by our 4 pillars: curating joyful Jewish spaces, building global citizens and future leaders, rooting Jewish ritual, and exploring Israel in the world. In a fast-paced world, pausing is essential, especially for college students. So I'd like to invite you all into one of my favorite Jewish traditions, the Shehecheyani moment. And I'll invite our Shabbat back up one more time to help us. The Shehecheyani prayer is said when we do something for the first time each calendar year. It could be the first night of Hanukkah, the first time we eat a new fruit of the season, or something like tonight, when we gather for the largest Lador Gador in Hillel history. The Shehecheyani helps us pause and express gratitude for reaching this moment. It's not lost on me that all 500 of you lead very busy lives with a lot of competing priorities. And you are here. Thank you. To all the students in the room, I'd like to ask you to stand for a second, and I didn't prep you, but please stand. Look around. There's students. For the students, everyone here is showing up for you. Okay, maybe some came for Dr. Crow or for Marquez, but Dr. Crow and Marquez are here for you guys, for the students. Our event name, Lador Vador, means from generation to generation, and that's just what Hillel is. An institution that is here for each generation, and an institution that relies on one generation to provide and support for the next. You will soon hear from students who can give this mission so much more color with their personal stories and experiences. I'm confident you'll be proud of the nuances in their leadership, their resilience, and their commitment to one another. First, I'd like to introduce you to Adam Lehman, President and CEO of Hillel International. Having just finished 4 years on the Hillel International Board of Directors myself, I've been privileged to have a front row seat to Adam's leadership that has guided us all. And so I'd like to invite all of you to join me in this prayer, the Shehecheyani. While you do so, take a pause for yourself too.
Baruch
Let's hear another big round of applause for the shebang. As someone who is a founder of the Hillel House Band and someone who still sings in a Jewish a cappella group, I know the power of Jewish music in terms of bringing people together and conveying the depth of Jewish belonging and Jewish wisdom. I am so happy to be here with all of you this evening, celebrating two amazing honorees, and also being here to support the progress, growth, and future of ASU Hillel. And yeah, I'll throw it here. And being here in the great state of Arizona, I want to focus my brief remarks on 3 A's: acknowledgement, alignment, and aspiration. So starting with acknowledgement, I have the benefit of working with Hillel to support and serve 850 colleges and universities in North America and 14 countries around the world. And that's an amazing and awesome responsibility as we engage nearly 200,000 Jewish students and young adults through that movement. We identified at Hillel International a decade ago the growth overall of the institution here at ASU and the opportunity to make sure that ASU would have one of the most outstanding Hillel communities in the world. And again, beginning with acknowledgement, I want to express deep gratitude to Debbie Kale, to Taylor Silverman, to the board of directors, because they are doing it, and they are doing it with the support of every one of you on whom they and we depend. But we are at the point where Hillel at ASU is a model Hillel, is showing incredible leadership, not only in numbers. As Debbie mentioned, it's already engaging, inspiring, and supporting 1,000 students. But beyond the numbers, each one of those students is someone who has the capacity to change the future, to change the Jewish world, to change the broader world. And that is what is happening now at ASU Hillel. I also, in this phase of acknowledgement, want to acknowledge Arizona State University under the incredible leadership of President Crow. We'll be hearing more about President Crow from President Crow, but suffice it to say that not only has he and his team been able to do the unthinkable in building the largest single institution public university in America and the largest overall educational institution through an unparalleled online footprint, within having to think about every community that is served by ASU, President Crow and his team have paid real attention to ASU Hillel and worked hard to partner with ASU Hillel and Hillel International in making sure that Jewish students do have a welcoming, supportive environment here. And so not only is ASU Hillel now a model of growth, success, impact, and leadership as a Hillel, the partnership between ASU Hillel and ASU is also a model that we will work to replicate everywhere we are. So that's acknowledgement. Moving on to alignment. I was looking at the ASU charter, as I'm sure many of you do every day, just to make sure that you're up to date. And not surprisingly to me, some of the core values of ASU are embedded within the core values of Hillel International and ASU Hillel. Innovation. How do we make sure that we are constantly rethinking and reinventing our institutions and the way we can inspire young people today? And ASU Hillel, I'm so proud of year in and year out the way that ASU Hillel takes that focus on innovation to create fun, unique ways to inspire and support students. Things like Sparky's Hanukkah Party, which I haven't been to yet, but I hear it's a rocking time. Taking students to Sun's Night Out. And of course, the core Jewish life experiences that still are so important when it comes to Shabbat, when it comes to Jewish learning, and just creating welcoming environment. Inclusivity. You don't build an institution of the size of ASU without focusing on how to be there for every possible student who could take advantage of an educational opportunity. And Hillel, we take the same approach. And when I get to talk about aspiration, we're working so hard to meet every young Jewish student where they are. They come from incredibly diverse backgrounds. They have different passions, and we are committed to inclusivity in building Jewish lives and communities. And finally, in terms of that alignment, ASU is a values-based institution. It is built on a commitment to core values and principles, and we are too. And even though Debbie talked already, and I won't spend a lot of time talking about the current challenges facing Jewish students, they are real. And as much as we and I agree with the commitment to free expression and academic freedom that I know is near and dear to the institution of ASU, we both institutionally know that when it's not about speech, when it's about conduct, when it's about students facing discrimination, institutions and students facing vandalism, students facing targeted harassment, students facing even physical assault, action is required. And we've been able to depend on the ASU police and the institution to speak up and act in a way that creates what we need, which is a safe learning environment and a living environment for Jewish students and all students. I'm going to move to number 3, the third A. Who remembers what the third A was? Aspiration. All right, we're on an aspiration. We've made it to a wonderful place here with ASU Hillel. I think everyone in this room should be proud of what is being built. And we have so much further to go. 1,000 students are being engaged. There are thousands more who are not yet finding their Jewish home in their Jewish community. Of the students who are being served, supported, and inspired, we can go further in inspiring them to their leadership at Hillel, their leadership on campus, and their leadership in the world. We can go further. We were having a wonderful table conversation around how we can build the first serious digital Hillel that can be associated with the biggest online institution of higher education. We have opportunities to formalize leadership incubators. There's so much more we can do. And we have to make it easier for the team at ASU Hillel. We have to support them financially so that we can continue to grow amazing professionals. We have to support them financially so they can provide the kind of programming that is exciting and inclusive. And we need to create a Hillel home, a physical space that, just the way that ASU Hillel is already a leader and a model, there should be a physical Hillel space here that is also the envy of institutions everywhere. So I'm going to wrap up by congratulating ASU Hillel and Debbie, congratulating ASU for its partnership, and shifting to the moment where we can honor a true visionary and leader when it comes to building and leading not only a great institution at ASU, but really being a thought leader for the entirety of higher education. That, of course, is Dr. Crow. Thank you very much.
Dr. Crow is a really special, unique honoree because he's been a pillar clearly of this institution and more broadly of higher education, but in doing so, he's created this environment for us to thrive, for Hillel to thrive, for Jewish students to thrive, kind of meeting that basic need of safety and allowing us to continue to build our Jewish community here at ASU.
Qualities that I think about when I think about Rabbi Lee was kindness, warmth, inclusion. He really brought us all in as part of his family. I'm excited that Dr. Crow is receiving this award. The name of it is really very fitting for who he is, who he's been for ASU, as far as a pillar for ASU, the growth that ASU has seen, not only in the size, but also in the offerings, and also who he has been for the Jewish community.
I can't think of anyone more deserving of the Pillar Award than Michael Crow. Every decision has to come from a moral standing, whether it's how you're running a university, how you're reacting to a crisis, how you're raising your family. This moral backbone is what pushes every decision he makes. And that's what we expect of someone who would be getting such an award from Hillel.
Seeing so many university presidents across the country over the past year flounder, struggle to say things that show that they're standing up for Jewish students or even just showing up for safety on their campuses, it just reminds me how lucky we are to have a leader like Michael Crow here at ASU that stands up for religious freedom, that stands up for inclusion, that stands up for free speech and protects all free speech even when it's hard, but does it in a way that signals every minority still has a place here at ASU.
As an alum and a community leader, I take great inspiration in knowing that Dr. Crow is really leading the way here at ASU.
ASU and Ben-Gurion University have a long-going partnership. And as we've gotten to know each other more, we find more and more places that we'd like to have student exchanges or joint research programs. His incredible contribution to academia worldwide, to American academia, through his career at ASU, how he's revolutionized the role of academia, the role of the fifth generation university. Michael Crow was one of the lone few clear voices on what is a clear moral stand post October 7th. He was the first university president to reach out to me already on October 8th to see if I was fine personally and how the university was doing.
Knowing that our university president is so committed to protecting religious freedom has allowed Jewish students to feel safe and secure here. It allows me to speak confidently to prospective families that this is a place where it's worthwhile to invest in the Jewish community, where it's meaningful to be a Jew on campus. And if we didn't have a president like that, I wouldn't be able to honestly say those things to all the different stakeholders that want to be a part of our community.
Mark and I are proud to stand here tonight to celebrate a true pillar of our community, Dr. Michael Crow, whose leadership has not only shaped Arizona State University, but also redefined the way we think about higher education worldwide. We do this in honor of Rabbi Martin Lee of blessed memory. Rabbi Lee was executive director of Hillel at ASU for 42 years, and of course became a pillar of this institution, known for his warm smile and creative holiday celebrations.
Like it's long overdue opportunity to be the student at 500 to install your virtues. But I'm happy to do so. It couldn't be more deserved. For over 2 decades, you've led ASU as a model of inclusion, innovation, and excellence. You've championed the idea that universities should be judged not by whom they exclude, but by whom they include and how they succeed. And that vision, I know from my contact with you, is a deeply held belief that you hold. It's not just that we etched it in granite on all 4 campuses. And it's that unwavering personal commitment of yours that has allowed us to see this through, and with your patience and persistence, I hope it continues for 22 more years. That way you can have exceeded Rabbi Lee's term. One of the many things I admire about Michael is that he understands leadership, and he understands that leadership is about dialogue, not division. He respects other people's opinion. He believes you have to listen to learn, and then you chart a course. At the core of everything he does is the simple but profound principle that everyone deserves a seat at the table. And that's what allows organizations like Hillel to be successful and thrive at ASU. Throughout his tenure, Michael has been a catalyst for innovation. We've been #1 in innovation. Whether it's providing educational infrastructure for the United States Air Force, securing ASU's place in the Association of American Universities, which is the organization of the most prestigious universities in the United States, think Ivy League, Michigan, Virginia, Stanford, places like that. Or taking us from about $140 million in research funding to almost $1 billion. Under his leadership, Michael has made ASU a powerhouse academic place of excellence. He's positioned ASU at the forefront of technological advancement, global partnerships, and educational access. And this is why ASU graduates remain among the most highly sought after worldwide.
Mark has had the privilege of working closely with Dr. Crow, and I've had the opportunity to see him through a different lens. At countless events, I have seen firsthand how deeply he listens, how much he genuinely cares, and how he is a person who lives his values. Personally, as the daughter of Holocaust survivors, I cannot express how meaningful it is to see a university president stand so firmly in defense of Jewish students and the Jewish people. Not out of obligation, but because it aligns with his deeply held belief in justice and inclusion. When ASU publicly reaffirmed its support for Israel after October 7th, Dr. Crow spoke while many national higher education leaders hesitated. His unequivocal support of Israel, his refusal to engage in boycotts that silence dialogue, and his steadfast commitment to ASU's Jewish community spoke volumes. It wasn't about politics, it was about values. And it is that integrity, that commitment to ensuring everyone has a seat at the table that makes Dr. Crow such a deserving recipient of the Rabbi Barton G. Lee Memorial Pillar Award.
Mike, your vision, your commitment to achieving our charter and goals have transformed ASU into something truly remarkable. I have been here since 1995, and I've had the pleasure of working with Michael since he arrived, and it has just been an unbelievable experience. And as ASU has excelled, so has Hillel. And it's our privilege to present to you with the Rabbi Barton G. Lee Memorial Pillar Award. Please join us here on stage.
Well, thank you for those comments, and it really is an unbelievable honor to be recognize on behalf of someone like Rabbi Lee, anyone that stays focused for over 40 years on their assignment, their task, and that's a superhuman. That's a person of unbelievable focus. So just to be mentioned in the same breath as him is unbelievable. What I wanted to do in the few minutes that I have to speak is just, I want in this moment of all the things that are going on around the world, the war in Israel, the war in Europe, the things that are going on in the democracies, including our own around Europe and here and elsewhere. I want everyone to understand like where we are in time and space, where we are with this Hillel as it needs to grow and expand and become this unbelievable, unencumbered voice for Jewish students, Jewish traditions, the Jewish faith, Jewish families, and all the things that they represent here in the United States. But to do that, you have to travel in time to understand what a great American university is supposed to do to implement the dreams that were outlined by those that designed this country and why they designed it the way that they did. So between 1776 with the signing of the Declaration of Independence and 1791 with the ratification of the Bill of Rights, the first of which was freedom of religion, with great precision relative to the role of the state to encumber no faith, the role of the state to not have a religion, the role of the state to protect everyone's right to express their own religion in every possible way. Those 15 years, that was not an easy thing to pull off. They had to throw off the yoke of a state that didn't have those beliefs. There was a state religion in the United Kingdom at the time. There was a state religion in Spain that led to the insurrection. There was a state religion in France that led to literally millions and millions of people dying in conflict between Catholics and Protestants. Obviously, a state religion in Germany that led to the deaths of millions and millions of innocent people. But prior to the revolution, the notion of religious freedom and religious identity and religious expression was so profoundly unprotected that in the essential design of what we presently live in, the American Republic, it was essential that that be included. Even Ben Franklin's brother James, living in what was then the colony of Massachusetts Bay, was an editor of a newspaper in which he became embroiled with the local idea of the religious leaders who thought that they controlled the state, the Puritans. He was in prison for 6 months for what he wrote about them. The state implemented imprisonment for the expression of words. A few decades later, the revolution is over. Thousands and thousands of people have died. Thousands and thousands, 10,000 prisoners on prison boats in New York City's harbors alone. And the few people that are there designing what you now benefit from, what I benefit from what our families benefit from, is how can this place, which was really built on the idea of religious freedom, how can this country, which has been filled with religious refugees, Huguenots, one type of Catholic, another type of Catholic, Jews, different types of Protestants, this group, that group, Quakers, Shakers, it goes on and on and on, in which religious expression was quite challengingly developed. How could they protect these freedoms and build a way in which, for the first time ever, the state and religion would not be the same? For the first time ever, religious freedom would be protected. For the first time ever, you could be a Jew, you could be a Muslim, you could be a Methodist, you could be a Hindu, you could be nothing, and no one would bother you. The state wouldn't bother you, and no one else had a right to bother you. So in 1791, when that First Amendment was ratified, it became this unbelievable opportunity for the leading educational institutions in the country to also take on this notion of freedom of religion. They didn't. They continued in their bigotry. They continued in their bias. well, we can't admit any of those people, or we can't admit too many of those people, or we can't do this, we can't have too many of them here, we can't change this, we can't change that. And then as the public universities evolved in the United States, even those institutions couldn't find a way to be what the true spirit of religious freedom in the United States really meant. So here at ASU, and I appreciate all the folks from ASU that are here, we call ourselves the New American University. You could have called this what an American university was really meant to be, but that was too many words. We just said New American University. What does that mean? We will judge ourselves based on who we include and how they succeed, not who we exclude. We will judge ourselves based on who we include and how they succeed. And that means everyone. Everyone can come to the university and be free from fear. Everyone can come to the university and be treated with respect. Everyone can come to the university and have their faith treated respectfully. We have fought and battled and won multiple lawsuits from ASU, costing millions of dollars to win these lawsuits, to make these points. We have protected and defended in every possible way the faith-based groups on our campus. Debbie knows this, the faith-based groups on our campus to be able to be freely expressive of their faith without fear of intimidation, without fear of attack. And we don't live in a perfect world, but we can continue to try to build more perfect institutions, a more perfect union, a more perfect republic, and a more perfect society. And to do that, organizations like Hillel must be as large, as comprehensively present, as powerfully present as possible, or we will not achieve this goal outlined in the United States at our founding of making certain that we have freedom of religion in this country. Every religious-based attack, every hate speech, every historic inaccuracy about the evolution of Israel and the Jewish people, it strikes me as odd. I guess people forgetting that the Romans threw the Jews out of Judea, threw them into Europe and other places in which they suffered over and over and over. And then why are the Jews any different than the Huguenot refugees that came there, or other refugees seeking religious freedom, the Pilgrims themselves, the Puritans themselves? They're not. It's the same thing. This place, this country, and its universities should be the beacon in every possible way for religious freedom. Every religious group should have its freedom to move, to operate, to advance at the university without fear. So Debbie and I have had many conversations, many interactions of all kinds of complexities, all kinds of horrendous things that people have communicated or perpetrated or threatened. That's the exact moment to go big. That's the exact moment to build the best Hillel that's ever been built in any university anywhere. That's the exact moment to find a way where one moves forward with courage and determination to make this model work in the United States. That's what this is about. That's why I am so honored to be recognized in the name of Rabbi Lee, who fought for this for over 40 years. So that fight goes on. All of you are here because of that fight, and that fight goes on for this organization. No retreat, no backpedaling, no moving backwards, more engagement, more expression, more education, more awareness. I've spoken many times to the Council of Religious Advisors here at ASU. Debbie's been at all of these meetings through the years. It's an unbelievable group where we can solve almost anything. But our Jewish students, our Jewish families, all of our Jewish students who are not engaged, who could be engaged, who might be afraid to be engaged, we need to end that. We need to find every possible way where people can be free in this great country that we're a part of to be who they are, who they want to be, and how they want to express themselves. So again, I just want to say thank you for this award. I want you to know that ASU remains committed to the success and the well-being of our Jewish students and our Jewish families and the Jewish community in every possible way. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, others, for this award. Thank you. Please welcome publicly to student leaders Zachary Bell, Bethel So, and Michael Romanek.
All right, tough act to follow here. But we heard that this was the part of the evening when presidents speak, so here we are. 3 generations of Hillel Student Board presidents.
We're honored to be up here today in front of you all. Zach was the Hillel Student President the year before me, and Michael the current president. I feel like I'm the most unlikely student president to be speaking up here out of the 3 of us, but that's the great thing about Hillel. It makes leadership accessible to everyone.
We wanted to share our leadership stories, very different and yet all committed to the same goal, a strong, inclusive level for all Jewish students to find themselves.
I'm thrilled to be back here again, not as a student, not as a student intern, but as a guest to share in this special evening, celebrating this organization that has given me so much. My Jewish story begins with my great aunt, Janet Armour, and more specifically, with her theatrical Passover storytelling, complete with costumes, props, and dramatic reenactments. But beneath the theatrics, I learned a deeper lesson, that stories connect us to our past, illuminate our present, and guide us toward a better future. It was the theme of liberation and solidarity in the Passover story that inspired me to take on the role of social impact chair my junior year at Hillel. At the time, I knew only a few blessings, some holiday stories. I wasn't religious, and I wasn't even sure that I was Jewish enough to belong. But at Hillel, I discovered that Jewish tradition doesn't just tolerate the difficult questions. It encourages and even demands them. Like the best classes at ASU, Judaism invites us to wrestle with complexity and engage with diverse perspectives, just like the great Talmudic sages did centuries ago. Now, fast forward to my senior year, my primary task as student president was creating a warm, welcoming, and inclusive Hillel. Inclusion sounds simple, just be welcoming, right? But here's what no one tells you, is that real inclusion takes work. And while it pays off, it is not always easy. When I first joined Hillel, our community was small and tight-knit, a little quirky even, just like me. But during my presidency, we grew a lot. And at times, the changes to our community felt uncomfortable for those of us who had been there for a while. But then, at our student leadership retreat, we poured over Hillel's strategic plan for engaging students from every background, on every corner of every campus, from Greek life students to Barrett students, from the West Valley campus to the Polytechnic campus, and beyond. This document told a compelling story of where we've been and where we're going. It justified the change we were experiencing. It brought our team together and made us proud to lead our inclusive, growing community. And I think that's the biggest leadership lesson that I learned at Hillel. The stories we tell as leaders build our collective vision for the future. This lesson had a profound impact on me, so much so that I decided to make a career out of it. Today, I work as a philanthropy writer at the ASU Foundation, a role in which storytelling and the stories I tell showcase ASU's remarkable impact. Just as the Passover story grounds our Jewish values, the ASU Charter serves as a guiding light for the ASU and Hillel communities. I'm endlessly grateful that Hillel gave me the opportunity to write my chapter of their story, and Hillel will forever be a part of mine.
I never saw myself as a leader in the spotlight. I wasn't the person who could start conversations with strangers. I was the socially awkward one behind the scenes. The Hillel staff saw something in me before I saw it in myself. During my sophomore year, I began having conversations with Hillel leadership about the president role. The staff taught me that leadership isn't about being the loudest in the room, it's about listening, knowing when to step forward and when to step back to lift others up. Even though it intimidated me, I leaned in and I began preparing to step into the role in the fall. Then, just a few months into my presidency, everything changed. On October 7, 2023, our world was shaken. While on fall break, I woke up that morning to my phone filled with messages and text streams already started by the Hillel staff. Suddenly, leadership meant something entirely different. I quickly had to switch from relaxation to crisis management in minutes. In less than 48 hours, the entire ASU Jewish community had come together, even though we were miles and states apart. Upon returning to school, we held a candlelight vigil on campus with other student organizations, creating a space where hundreds of Jewish students and allies could safely gather and work together. By Friday, we produced a solidarity Shabbat held on campus in secure rooms with security present. Little did we know this heightened security would become our new normal. Not long after that first week, separate organizations have now become known as Unity, putting out joint statements and messages, navigating campus protests and anti-Israel activity, and ensuring Jewish students have the resources and support to remain safe. Our rabbi at Hillel helped us consider how we hold both light and dark, plus grief and strength at the same time. My presidency was shaped by this innate Jewish value to hold two seemingly competing yet related emotions at one time. I was taking care of my community in whatever way I could, understanding each student's needs were unique and valued. When I look back at my presidency, I'm proud of the work I accomplished and the community we built. And lastly, I've learned leadership isn't about being fearless. It's about showing up anyways. As I prepare to graduate and step into my career, yes, I'm relieved to have a job lined up after graduation, I have found my voice, my confidence, and the strength to hold space for others who may be in us.
My first Jewish leadership position was not at Hillel. As the newly initiated brother ambassador of Alpha Epsilon Phi, which is the Jewish fraternity on campus, I was constantly reminded that the teaching dialogue is a pledge, which was that the most important role in the president, the executive board rather, it was being a brother and being a respectful leadership member. Last year, I started noticing that this applied to my Hillel leadership too. I may not have started as a leader at Hillel, but I was glad to have a place to relax, partake in free food, and really just be myself. And when I started to explore leadership at Hillel in the new year, the staff explained that the strategy as a whole was based on the concept called radical welcoming, which is wearing a big smile, welcoming old friends and new, just saying things that I was already doing. I spent my junior year as the VP of Outreach, focusing on grassroots efforts like my own weekly takeaway on campus. So, when it was time to think about student leadership for senior year, I looked back at Zach and Beth, and I knew that the president was the right role for me. I also knew that I had incredibly big shoes to fill. Our Hillel had grown so much between Zach's first year as president of our engagement plan and Beth taking the challenge 10-7 and beyond. I needed to figure out what my footprint would be. After many conversations with this year's student board about Jewish students' needs and concerns at post 10-7, we realized there was an overarching theme, which was the desire to create space for Jewish joy despite the harsh realities of news headlines and words. Through it all, we remain committed to adding one more constant in students' lives: love. As president, I made my mission to ensure every student knows they matter, no matter your Jewish background, major, campus, or interests, Greeks or not Greeks, you belong. Every day, Hillel is a safe space to find light, even in the darkest times, over a coffee chat, bagel break, or Shabbat. As I begin to conclude my presidency and look towards my future starting law school this fall, I think back to one of the first values I learned in 85, the importance of being a brother. Today, being a student at Hillel is more important than any leadership title in the world. At Hillel, we take pride in creating as many opportunities for Jewish students as possible. I guess I'm not the only president in ASU working towards the inclusion rather than exclusion. And similarly to ASU at Hillel, you become as you are, much like I did 3 years ago.
We all have the privilege to lead this organization where inclusion isn't just a value, it's our mission.
We've also had the privilege to learn from legacy leaders before us, like Dr. Crow and Mr. Lehman, and inspire many leaders to come.
We are deeply honored to be a part of the Hillel story. We invite you to join us in ensuring that future Jewish students at ASU have a safe, supportive home community to call them for years to come. Thank you. Please welcome the lovely ASU alumni, Hannah Austin.
Good evening, everyone. As you heard, my name is Hannah Osman. I graduated from ASU in 2015 and have spent the last 9 years living and working in Washington, D.C. Hillel at ASU was critical during my formative college years, and I flew all the way across the country today just to ask you for money. ASU is that important to me. My journey with Judaism wasn't always straightforward. After my bat mitzvah, it took a back seat and I felt disconnected from my identity. That all changed when my older brother encouraged me to explore Hillel and rediscover my roots, leading me to a vibrant community that felt like the missing piece in my life. Hillel became my home away from home, where I found pride in my Jewish identity, lifelong friendships, and the joy of being part of something greater than myself. What I didn't fully understand when I was a student at ASU was how Hillel prepared me not just to embrace my identity, but to become a leader in the Jewish community, the broader community, and in my career. Serving as a student member on the Hillel Board of Directors introduced me to connections that shaped my professional path. Through those relationships, I landed my first job in college, which ultimately led to my role today as a global manager at Amazon Web Services. In fact, it's largely because of you, President Crow, and your commitment to innovation that ASU is one of AWS's largest education partners in the world, even hosting a dedicated Cloud Innovation Center on campus. Together, ASU and AWS are driving groundbreaking solutions and creating a pipeline fostering future talent. And just as ASU fosters innovation and shapes future leaders through its partnership with AWS, Hillel plays a pivotal role in cultivating leadership, community, and purpose. As you've seen here tonight, Hillel empowers students to thrive, give back, and drive meaningful change long after they leave. When I was a student at ASU 11 years ago, there were 3 full-time Hillel staff and only a few student programs every semester. Today, there are 7 full-time staff, and there's at least 1 program per day. To all of you here tonight, whether you're a parent, an alum, or a community member, know your financial support truly matters. You create a safe and inclusive space where students like me and all of the current students you've heard from tonight can thrive, find their people, and transform their lives. This is why your donations tonight are so vital. Now, I'm not shy by nature, and I'm not going to be shy with you right now. We've all heard the cliches. Add a zero, give till it hurts. I say, please give tonight a gift that's meaningful to you because it'll be meaningful to us. So everyone, please take out your phones, scan the QR code, or grab the donation envelope from your table because in just a few minutes, our amazing Hillel students will be coming around to collect them. Let's show up for Hillel in a big way tonight. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for being part of this journey. It's because of each one of you, I can proudly say my life and my career would not be the same without Hillel. We'll give you a moment to make your meaningful contribution, and Judy and Mark will be back up to conclude